Hello, welcome to the first video of the EU referendum, or at least the second, the first in which you can see me. Good morning. It is the 6th of June. Happy D-Day to everybody. The true liberation day for all free people everywhere. This is to fellow British people. I want you to be reminded that you have only another day to register to vote for the referendum, which is on the 23rd of June. And whilst I have managed to hide my face and my body very well with this artwork, I decided not to have a shave until the day after what I hope will be Independence Day. I want to just go over a few things quite quickly. And one thing that has obviously had me wound up for a long time was this stupid government leaflet that came through our doors a few weeks ago, month before last actually. This is simply propaganda. I'm sure we were well aware of that. The government, of which 27% of all eligible voters went for, believes that voting to remain in the European Union is the best decision for the UK. Remember that the UK is 4 nations, so there is a possibility that England could do something which the other nations wouldn't do. However, in that circumstance, the minority view in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland would be for a Brexit, and they would be in the same boat as the rest of England. Now, a lot of people think that we should stay in at the moment, who are roughly in my age group and in the same political party as me. I'm a member of the Labour Party, have been since 2008. And I disagree with the Labour Party on pretty much, 80% of the things they say in public. So it makes me sometimes think, why am I a member? And it comes down to some simple basic principles of the party itself. First of all, being that of the trade union movement and working people. And another thing I wanted to talk about quickly was the way in which the referendum has been shaped. And in that, it seems that the lowest common denominator will always be, if you're voting Brexit, you're a fucking racist. You're a cunt if you think that. If you actually think that, you're a cunt, okay? I have been really pissed off for the last couple of years, actually, with this sort of illiberal nature of people who say that they're open-minded and tolerant, but at the same time would just dismiss someone's viewpoint as racist. The population of the United Kingdom is about 65 million people, so they assume. In the last 3 years, there's been an extra million people come from the European Union. Now, that wouldn't be a problem if we had the number of jobs and public services and all the rest of it where we could facilitate this and we could look after these people. That clearly isn't the case. We have a pretty stagnant job market and wages have been pretty compressed for a long time. Now, this might sound quite technical, but the simple thing is, when people were complaining about foreigners taking their fucking jobs, that's not that they're being, it might be on the face of it, they might be just attach it to being fucking racist and hating fucking foreigners. But we know that you can just look at it on the big picture. If you've got hundreds of thousands of people coming in pursuing minimum wage jobs, which would be taken up by residents, natives, locals, young people, part-time people, all sorts, well, hang on, where are the other jobs for those people to go to? They don't exist. And those who are in charge of big businesses, of government, know that it's easier to have us divided amongst ourselves in lower income brackets than at the top, where you have a demand which is pretty consistent. At the bottom, however, if you've got more and more people competing for fewer and fewer jobs, well, that really does lead to a problem in local society. So I really resent that when someone who comes from, what would you call it, sort of middly class, which is a horrible word, but we'll go with it for now. In between, sort of, you went to school with people who were quite rich, or you went to school with people who were quite poor. That sort of balance, which is where the majority of people are. And where that doesn't really matter, it didn't really come into it. Only probably on non-uniform day, where people could be extra bitchy if you weren't wearing the right clothes, but fuck them. Brexit is important because it's actually a fork in the road for us as a country of countries. I bring us back to the fact that it's D-Day, and that shouldn't be used as a political football, but it should be there for us to be reminded that there was a world before the European Union, and maybe that world was all of war, but those wars no longer exist because, hey, wait, we've done that twice already in the last 100 years, the Europeans. We don't want it anymore. The European Union is after an army. It's after the erosion of national identity, culture, in some mixing pot. Now, sounds like a good idea in principle, but that means that you can't have your local government, it can't have your national government meaning anything if the European Union's there to dictate everything. So this has just been 6 minutes, maybe 6 minutes too long, but that's my first little run into the world of putting myself here inside a box on a Monday morning. I hope you all have a great day, and whichever way you decide to vote, I trust your decision's the right one. But for someone who has got pretty much fed up with people who say they're in the Labour Party, say they vote the same way as me, bemoaning the rich, the 1%, the JP Morgan chases, the investment banker classes. You bitch and moan about those as if it's your bread and butter, as if that makes you your money, and as if it means anything. Well, they're the exact same people who benefit from a Remain. The status quo is fine with it. Corporations fine with it. It hasn't done anything for our working people. It's made a mess of our public services, and let's be honest, 65 million people are we, and that's going to go up to about 80 million within the next few decades. Are you seriously saying that based on all our national history, all our culture, all our different ethnic groups, all our different nationalities of second, third generation descent, are you seriously saying that we can't deal with the problems in the world? You're having a laugh. So I move around to Brexit probably about this probably straw the camel's back, the government and its propaganda. I also got to say this as the last point. The way I understand it is that if we vote to stay in, any European who's working here at the moment, who hasn't been here for 3 years, is in danger of not being eligible for benefits. I believe in universal benefits, that anyone who's a human being is entitled to certain safeguards if they lose their job or fall ill. The European Union has simply sold out European workers in order to buy the votes of gullible British people. We can't let this happen. We can't say that we're buying into the idea of Europe and then at the same time sell down the river our European friends who've come here to work and make their lives better. Okay, we can't do that. Those are here at the moment. I think they should be allowed to stay for a year, something like that, 6 months. If they've got work, it just shouldn't matter. But we can deal with that later. The first issue is to get ourselves out of this ridiculous institution. It's a clown cart. And sorry, meant to stop a little while ago, but as you know, it's me and I ramble, so have a great day.